The year was 1950, a time when America was undergoing a dramatic transformation. The Second World War was over, and the country stood on the cusp of a golden age. The economy was booming, suburbs were expanding, and technological advancements promised a brighter future. Boston, one of America's oldest cities, reflected this duality of tradition and progress. Its cobblestone streets and historic landmarks, such as the Old North Church, served as a reminder of the city's revolutionary past, while bustling factories and modern commerce pointed toward the future. But amid the optimism and renewal, shadows lurked. On a bitterly cold night, January 17, 1950, Boston would play host to one of the most audacious crimes in American history, the Brink robbery. Meticulously planned over 2 years and executed with stunning precision, this heist would become a defining moment in the annals of crime and earn the title, the crime of the century. Prince Street in Boston's North End was quiet as the city settled into its winter rhythm. At 6:55 p.m., as snowflakes swirled under the dim glow of streetlights, 7 men approached the Brink's armored car depot. Dressed in dark navy-style peacoats, chauffeur caps, and grotesque Halloween masks, they moved with practiced precision. These weren't petty thieves, they were professionals, and they were ready to pull off the biggest robbery in American history. The heist had been meticulously planned. For 2 years, the gang had studied every aspect of the depot's operations. They knew the schedules of the guards, the layout of the building, and even the exact timing of the alarm systems. They had managed to steal a copy of the building's key months earlier, testing it repeatedly to ensure it worked flawlessly. They practiced every step of the operation in rented spaces, perfecting their timing and roles to the second. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment crime. It was an operation planned with military precision. Inside the depot, the guards were oblivious to the danger lurking outside. The robbers slipped in quietly, using the stolen key to unlock the door. Armed with only a few handguns, a deliberate decision to avoid unnecessary violence, the gang moved swiftly. They overpowered the guards in a matter of moments, binding their hands and gagging them to prevent any resistance or alarms. The guards could only watch in stunned silence as the gang worked methodically, each man carrying out his assigned role with chilling efficiency. The target was the depot's vault, which held a staggering amount of money, cash, coins, and checks accumulated from businesses across the city. Using wheeled carts, the robbers loaded bag after bag of loot. By the time they were finished, they had stolen over $2.7 million, an amount that, adjusted for inflation, would be worth nearly $30 million today. In less than 30 minutes, the gang vanished into the icy Boston night, leaving behind bound guards and a scene of eerie calm. When the police arrived, they were stunned. The Brink's depot had been considered one of the most secure facilities in the nation. Yet the robbers had pulled off the crime without leaving a single obvious clue. There were no fingerprints, no eyewitnesses, and no clear leads. The sheer audacity of the heist captivated the nation. Headlines across the country screamed of the crime of the century, and the Brink's company, once a symbol of impenetrable security, found its reputation in tatters. For law enforcement, the robbery presented an enormous challenge. The FBI launched an exhaustive investigation, interviewing hundreds of suspects and combing through every possible lead. Agents scoured Boston's underworld, seeking anyone who might know something about the heist. Yet the gang remained invisible. They had taken extraordinary precautions, avoiding lavish spending or anything else that might draw attention. They blended into the fabric of everyday life, living modestly and keeping their secrets close. Years passed, and the mystery deepened. The heist became a legend, whispered about in bars and back alleys. The public speculated endlessly about the identities of the robbers, and theories ranged from mob connections to insider jobs. Despite the FBI's best efforts, the case remained cold, and the loot, over $2.7 million, seemed lost to history. But no crime is perfect. By 1955, cracks began to appear in the gang's facade. Internal tensions over how the money had been divided started to surface. Joseph "Specs" O'Keefe, one of the original conspirators, found himself at odds with his partners. He felt he hadn't received his fair share and was further embittered when the gang failed to help him during a prison sentence for an unrelated crime. Facing years behind bars and growing resentment, O'Keefe made a fateful decision. He would cooperate with the FBI. O'Keefe's confession was a bombshell. He provided a detailed account of the robbery, naming names and describing the meticulous planning that had gone into the crime. Armed with this information, the FBI moved swiftly, arresting the remaining members of the gang. The trial that followed was a sensation, drawing national attention. In court, the full story of the robbery was revealed, from the initial planning stages to the final moments, when the gang fled into the night with their record-breaking haul. In the end, the robbers were convicted and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. However, much of the stolen money was never recovered. Speculation about its fate has fueled countless rumors and theories over the decades. Was it hidden somewhere in Boston, buried in the countryside, or quietly spent in small amounts to avoid detection? The answers remain elusive, adding an air of mystery to the already legendary heist. The Brink's robbery was more than just a crime. It was a story of ingenuity, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It challenged the perception of what was possible, proving that even the most secure systems could be breached with enough cunning and determination. For all its drama, the crime served as a stark reminder of the human capacity for ambition, greed, and ingenuity. To this day, the Great Brink's robbery stands as one of the most famous heists in history. Its sheer scale, meticulous planning, and the years of mystery surrounding it have cemented its place in the annals of American crime lore. The daring nature of the heist challenged the perception of security in a rapidly modernizing world, capturing the imagination of a nation. Even in a time of post-war optimism, the crime served as a reminder that the shadows of greed and cunning could still loom large. It's a story that endures, not just in the annals of history, but in the imagination of all who hear it. Stay tuned for episode 2 of Super 50s, where we'll dive into another unforgettable story from this transformative decade, a time of innovation, intrigue, and remarkable moments.